Ejay, who is the former Assistant Secretary at the Office of the former President. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
You're looking nice in polka dots.
Amen.
You know, I've never seen you in like an ensemble.
Yeah?
Like your ensemble is mostly the kaftan.
Yes.
What happened?
Actually, I've worn this once before, so I decided to give it a second showing.
Right.
Years ago, I've been on air for like 23 years, across all the radio stations. I was always in my suit and tie, my bow tie.
Oh.
Those who've watched me on the other networks before will know that, yes, when Ibrahim is there, he's a suit and tie guy.
Right.
Often it was a bow tie.
Right.
Sometimes I'd have a cravat. If you just Google, you do some YouTube, you'll see. And then I decided to be more African. When I say African,
with the kaftans.
With the kaftans,
right.
And I get my materials from Nigeria, some from Senegal, some from Misr. Misr is Egypt. It's the actual name of Egypt. Some from Turkey, and so I became more invested.
Yeah.
And
now you're just doing something different again.
A little bit different.
Whew.
Yeah.
We're ready for
Switch it up. Thank you, Chris. You look beautiful as always.
Thank you. So Ibrahim, let's just get straight to it.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at the first story, Mahama, reshuffling the security service. So Mahama appoints new heads of GNFS, prisons, and GIS, and we're going to be looking at an article on citynewsroom.com. President John Mahama has appointed 3 new heads of the Ghana National Fire Service, Prison Service, and Ghana Immigration Service. DDGP3 Patience Bafo-Boni will head the Ghana Prison Service, while DCFO Daniela Mawusi Ntonsapo will head the Ghana National Fire Service. DCI Samuel Basentela Amadu has also been appointed as the new Controller General at the Ghana Immigration Service. The appointments were announced on Friday, March 14, after President Mahama swore in COP Christian Tete Yohunum as the new Inspector General of Police. Yohunu takes over from IGP George Akufo-Dampare, who had headed the police service from 2021 after he was appointed by former President Akufo-Addo. And we actually have the presidency communications right there. If you want to go through it, all you need to do is check out citynewsroom.com for this and more of your news. And so let's get straight to it. So now we've seen that he's made some changes, from the IGP to the fire service, prisons, and immigration. To you, do you see these changes as about strengthening the service, or it's just politicizing the security institutions?
Very good morning once again, Chris.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't see it as politicization. I'll explain why I say so.
Right.
It's become the norm that every administration, especially when it's a different political party, has that liberty, has that right to change, the face of its administration.
Right.
I understand people, because I heard that Franklin Kujo Vemani, they want to go to court and petition against, a new IGP.
Yeah.
I mean, the change is well within the Constitution.
Yeah.
And so I can't understand the basis upon that. We should understand. You had it recently, even with Donald Trump. Chief of Defense Staff was removed. Though there's a convention that often they stay across administrations. So personally, I don't see the politicization of it. When we continue to talk about it that way, then we give it oxygen. That, it's changed me, and therefore it's politics. Given Lawyer Tachi, he's the head of immigration, welfare side, as I understand. He had, in fact, submitted his resignation because he's due for retirement.
Right.
How is that politics? Lawyer Tachi of immigration, even before December elections, he's due for retirement. He's now gone and he's been replaced. Of course, the IGP is the controversial one.
Right.
One, because they're saying that the new IGP, Yohonu, is 59. He has 1 year left, because by 60 you have to retire. And so what's the point? It's not about his tenure. What can he or they bring to the table at a particular point in time. Dampare, I think, generally, if you remove the political lens, he's done a lot to reform, professionalize the police. He's been a good PR himself in making sure that what's happening on the police, that friendly face, your neighborhood Bobby on the beats.
Right.
You know, he's managed to bring visibility to the police. There's been good transparency. I remember when they did the, what do you call it? They did an exercise for those who were speeding and cutting lanes at East Legon. And you had some members of parliament who were arrested, you know, and they say, I'm a member of parliament, I have to, you know, if you're a member of parliament, that does not give you the right to flout the road traffic laws and endanger people through reckless driving. And I liked how he was able, I'm talking Dampare, to put his foot down and said, no, this is not about you being an honorable.
Right.
You flouted the law, and so, you know, we're detaining you, et cetera, et cetera. So these are the things that you want from an IGP. Right. Somebody who's dispassionate and has that community and national security at his or her mindset.
Right.
And I'm hoping that the new IGP, Tete Yohonu, would do the same.
Right.
When you go to the prisons, it's nice that we're having women leading it as well. It speaks to the, how can I say, the appraisal system within it. Because these are deputies. They're not just being chosen because they're women.
Yeah.
Per the order of promotion, they are due to the next step.
Yeah.
You know, so let's understand that our women are doing fantastically well across all institutions. And so when they are elevated on merits, not on gender, I think we have to applaud them in their right that they've done so well to reach where they are. And we can only urge and support all of them that given the space that they now occupy, they can add value to those institutions.
Right. So how do you think this leadership changes will actually impact the public view or confidence in security institutions?
I think generally change in itself is good, in itself.
Yeah.
You know, what they can do to encourage the public perception is to start off on a very, let's say, a proactive public engagement, just as Dampare did.
Right.
Let us know who you are. Be authoritative, be disciplined, be determined and professional in your conduct and how you set your agenda. We cannot give you an appraisal now because you just entered the post. But how you conduct yourself in the public and the ideas and the vision that you bring about for us to consume will determine or answer your question, Chris, how the public will perceive them. So you hit the ground running, give us visions, ideas in that public space whereby you give us something to be confident about. Tell us the challenges you're facing and the remedies that you are going to put together that will tell us that, okay, you're going to do this for prisons. This is what's going to happen in immigration. You know, this is what's going to happen with the police service and the fire service. Bring those new ideas, that innovation. Let us hear it. And that will give us the confidence to support you publicly and privately.
Right. So do you think this reshuffle is about reforms?
Partly, it has to. But not so much about reforms, but
or
about
consolidation.
I would say it's about advancing the institutions. That's what should be involved. President Mahama's decisions should be dictated about how can we add value.
Yeah.
And if reform,
how can we make better?
How can we make things better? If reform is a component of making things better, then so be it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a case of let's get out the old, bring in the new, let's change this. Change is the only constant in this world.
Right.
You know, it sounds like a hyperbole, but change is the only constant in this world. And so I think that once you have a new mandate, I'm talking the new IGP, GNFS, Ghana National Fire Service, immigration and prisons, you have a new mandate. You have a blank canvas. You've seen things as deputies that you want to bring into the fore that maybe your predecessor, either because of resources or their own mindset and priorities, did not do. You now have a blank canvas. Paint us a picture that will really elevate your institution and Ghana.
Right. Okay, so joining us is Victor Kwajoga Adawudu, who's a member of the NDC Legal and Communications team. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to our cherished listeners.
All right. So, Victor, we are talking about the reshuffles that Mahama did with the security service. So, what do you think is the motivation behind President Mahama's reshuffle on the security service leadership?
I think they're looking at the one of the motivation. I think before we went into the elections, and during the election, security was one of the issues Ghanaians were talking about. It was one of the priorities looking at it. And every president that comes has an idea about the kind of way he wants his security to be done. So that's why I think the law has even given them that power that you can change your security chiefs anytime, So it's become a norm, if I would say a norm, that after every president or tenure of a president changes, there are some security chiefs are changed. And I think it is something normal. The security services, they understand, they know. So I think that this is what has informed them with the vision that he wants the security setup, the architecture to look like and how it should be done. That there might be some reforms spanning from what we have seen. Yes, it's a continuum. Yes, the former security chiefs, they have done their best under the old administration.
Right.
Yes, they've had positive, they've had negatives. So it is to build upon and reform the negatives that we have seen, that Ghanaians are saying that, no, we didn't like this type of, and when you see things are changing, the rebel style and the Gestapo style of the security services, when they are coming with their behon, it is changing.
Yeah.
And now the intelligence gathering is also changing. So I think that is what informs. And what we want to see is that these people, like the president said, their welfare is important, because from studies you have realized that if the people are not well catered for, there is some anger in them, and they vent that anger on the citizens. Because they feel that we are providing security for you, we don't sleep in the night, our wife and children, we are not well accommodated, so when they meet with the citizen, that anger in them. But you can see that there's a kind of change, and he talked about the welfare, that he should take the welfare of the citizens, especially their personnel.
Yeah.
Because charity begins at home.
Yeah.
So I think that is one of the things. Listen, across board, everybody would say that the transformation we have seen. Yes, Dampare may have his negatives, his weaknesses, but we have seen some transformation.
Yeah.
That even the ordinary citizen would see that there had been some transformation.
Yeah.
So those initiatives that had been taken, he asked the other IGP, the new IGP, that he should continue with the transformation. So I believe with the transformation and the welfare, citizens will be happy. Police has been made attractive now. People want to join the police service. Until some time, you never saw any of the security service, the people study right up to a PhD level. Now we see them, most of them in their services. So I think that I congratulate IGP Yohonu. When it comes to Agric, I've known Madam Bafo Boni, Mrs. Bafo Boni. Yes, she was my senior 1 year in law school. So I've known her. She had been at the top, but for some reasons that she had been at the low key for some time. It's now that I believe it is her time. One of the things I would want to see is the prison reforms,
right?
The custodial sentence and how it has to be implemented, how it has to be crafted. Two, we have a lot of resources within the prisons. That is human resource. We need to go into agriculture. They used to do commercial farming. They used to do a lot of farming. We have hands. You realize that most of the, excuse my language, most of the Chinese and the rest that they bring here to come and do construction, most of them are prisoners.
Oh.
Yes, most of them are prisoners that they bring them to for cheap labor and the rest to come and work. So we should also be looking at how things are. I know they have something doing with Zoom Lion, that they keep the city clean and the rest. I think she should also come with some initiatives that will broaden the spectrum of the prisons. And because I always believe that it can be done.
Right.
It's not like it's a punishment, because the same food that they will farm, they will be feeding from that. Then the issues of where remuneration or the subvention that goes to them is nothing to write about whom. They can also complement.
Right.
And complement with the food and the rest. I think the fire service, we need to see more of them. It is not only about fire, that there should be initiatives, things that they are education, and they should also try to have other initiatives that will bring the citizens on board.
So what about the immigration service? I
think immigration has rapidly improved. Rapidly, if you look at immigration, and I know Basintale, Deputy Commissioner of Immigration, Basintale, yes, he's qualified. I think he had some little issues with until his promotion was delayed. He had to go to court for them to be asked to be promoted to the deputy lieutenant. I think that they should see it as an opportunity to give back to society. Society is looking up to them, and they need to leave a legacy. They need to leave a mark. We should always study what went right for our predecessor, what went wrong. You know, when you are new and you come in, all sorts of people wants to tell you all sorts of about people. I would always advise that just be open-minded. Once you are open-minded, you can see for yourself.
Right.
People come and they backstab others thinking that they will have a position, they will be the favorite, they carry your favor and the rest. But once you are there as a matured person and you are leading the organization, listen to everybody. It is most of the time, yes, even if you don't want to listen to them, let them participate. Let them have your buy-in.
Right.
If they have your buy-in, I believe we would see. We have a lot of young men, people who is looking up to them. They also know that one day we can also join the services and rise up to where they are. Right. Especially looking at where they came from, especially Yohonu. He started as a constable and have gotten to where he is today. I believe the prisons officers, they were the first sixth formers. You know, those days some of the first sixth formers who joined the prison. When they then from there they started bringing in the graduates. So I'm sure she experienced and she should know much that. So I congratulate all of them on their appointment.
All right, so let's just get straight to the next story on the fight against corruption. So Ken Ofori-Atta versus the special prosecutor. We have an article here on citynewsroom.com. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has filed a lawsuit against the Office of the Special Prosecutor following the decision to declare him wanted. Ofori-Atta is seeking a court injunction to prevent the OSP from reissuing the declaration, which he claims is baseless and unjustified. The legal actions follows the OSP's announcement earlier this year, labeling him a fugitive in connection with alleged corruption and financial misconduct. The former minister has consistently denied the allegations, insisting that he has cooperated with the investigation through his legal representatives. In his suit, Ofori-Atta argues that the OSP's actions have caused a significant damage to his reputation and personal life. He asked the court to restrain the OSP from making any further declarations against him until the legal process is fully resolved. Ofori-Atta is among other things, seeking a declaration that A, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has no statutory power to use media briefing to declare a person wanted or fugitive from justice. B, the OSP has no powers other than what is provided for the police to declare a person wanted, and same cannot be done without leave of the court. C, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, in exercising the powers of the police as provided for under Section 28 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor Regulations 2018, is bound by the limits placed on the exercise of discretionary power as enshrined in the service. Instructions of the police service under Article 200 and consistent with Article 296 of the Constitution 1992. D, the unlawful declaration of the applicant as wanted or fugitive from justice constitutes violations of his right of personal liberty as enshrined in Article 14 of the 1992 Constitution and right of free movement enshrined in Article 21 of the 1992 Constitution, Article 12 of the International Covenant of Civil and Political Right, as well as Article 12 of the African Charter of Human and People's Rights. Now, E, being the last one, any act of the Office of the Special Prosecutor as a state agency that violates the applicant's human rights will amount to a breach of Ghana's international treaty obligations under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights. Wow. Now that has taken a dramatic turn. Ibrahim, what's your take on, Ofori-Atta, Ken Ofori-Atta suing the OSP? Does this actually undermine the fight against corruption?
No, it doesn't. It's about making sure that the law and its extremities and its confines are adhered to. The OSP is a creature of statute. He's not his own person. It was the law, the Constitution, so amended that brought him into being. And so what you've got to do is work within the powers you are given. So what Ken Ofori-Atta is doing in terms of suing him is working again within the Constitution. Because when you look at Act 959, okay, which is what made the law come into being, if you look at the functions of the office, which is 3 Part 1, Clause E, and I'll read it verbatim. It says the functions of the office, the OSP, is to disseminate information gathered in the course of investigation to competent authorities, police and what have you, okay, to competent authorities and other persons the office considers appropriate in connection with the offense specified in paragraphs A and B. It's saying that you gather the information, give it to the relevant authorities to then deal with.
So that means he has no right to actually come out and put it in the media?
Well, the law is telling you what you should do. I don't think that he has no right to come out into the media, but personally speaking, we're about a country that wants transparency. So if the OSP wants to come out in the media, what's the problem, personally? But I'm just looking at what the law is telling him. It's telling you what you can and cannot do.
Right.
All right? Again, it's an open area. It's not specific. It does not state categorically, do not go to the media.
So it's ambiguous.
It's ambiguous.
Yeah.
But again, Ken is using those aspects of the law. Because what he's saying is this: his legal team, prior to me being declared a wanted fugitive, I communicated to your office, I'm talking Ken Ofori-Atta's legal team, that I'm abroad seeking medical attention.
Yeah.
And you remember that when he was then Minister of Finance, he was out of the jurisdiction for at least a year and a bit. And we saw his face became bloated for the medication.
Right.
I don't know whether it was a heart issue or lung issue, but there's some major medical. So it's not something that he's conjured up recently. And he's saying
it's
that...
It's known fact.
It's the known fact. And then he communicated to you, the legal team, that this is where I am. And so if you need me, this is where you can reach me. We mentioned last week that Sedinam Tamaklo, former head of Maslock under President Mahama's first term, was tried in absentia.
Okay.
She's now, if she comes to Ghana, it's 10 years in Nsawam, because she's been tried. Why am I referencing her? OSP, you can prosecute this thing without, Ken Ofori-Atta even coming back.
Yeah.
He's not saying he won't come back, but he's saying that his human rights and dignity have been infringed upon. What is a fugitive? Let me give you the dictionary definition. A person who has escaped, operative word, from captivity or is hiding from justice. That is a fugitive. So when Kisi Ajeben labels him as such, you are indeed infringing on his human rights.
Right.
You're saying that I escaped captivity, I'm hiding from justice. I'm hiding and you know where I live presently. My lawyers are in touch with you. So why that terminology? Why that nomenclature?
Exactly.
Calling me a fugitive, wanted. I'm very much in favor of the OSP doing its job.
Right.
That's why we put him there, to do your job. Of course, before it was Martin Kaiser Amidou from the NDC side, who was the first OSP, Office of Special Prosecutor. Now it's Kisi Ajeben. So I'm very much in favor of having an arm of authority that, God willing, by construct, is neither politically affiliated, which is why I think went into the choice of Martin Amidou, an MPP government having an NDC, strong NDC personality and lawyer heading that office.
Right.
You do get me. So I'm very much in support of OSP and its functions, but do it in such a way that nobody can come back to you.
Right.
If Ken Ofori-Atta is not responding, that rather adds to your, let's say, your case. And then tell us what the case is. We know that it's about $58 million of money on the National Cathedral that has been spent, and you want to find out where that money went.
Yeah.
I'm talking OSP, Special Prosecutor. It's fantastic. We need these things to come up. Then there was the GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority, SML thing, which prima facie, on the face of it, for me, is very bad. Because it looked like, for me, I've got to go into the minutiae of that case, but it's like a way of just siphoning money. Just when Isophoton, those of us who are clued up, I'm a victim of you.
Isophoton.
You remember Isophoton? Yeah. Those deals constructed by politicians, and they use it as a vehicle to steal money from the states. I'm not accusing anybody, but what I want the Office of the Special Prosecutor inform us. Some of us who are political, we go into these issues. But I think the majority need to hear what the case is about. And I don't think talking about these other cases.
Right.
I don't think it would prejudice your case.
So just being transparent.
Yeah, let us know what the cases are. I'm talking the public, so we can understand better the reasons for your prosecuting it.
Yeah.
But as Niayiko Otu, former Attorney General, mentioned, he said, you don't see the Attorney General coming on TV saying Leave that to your PR department. Earlier, I was saying how Dan Parry was very good in giving that public relations, he himself. But beyond him, you have a whole array of police personnel telling us what they're doing. And if there's a case, they come out and explain what those cases are about. The OSP, I don't know whether it fits under the Attorney General. But I mean, use officers of the state as, your functions in Article 3.1, the Part E, tells you to, get your information out. Sometimes it's good to be in the background.
Yeah.
I'm talking, and let state institutions...
So find other channels to disseminate
yes, because now it's becoming personal.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to be saying Kisi Ajeben. I just office.
Office. It has to be OSP.
Yeah. Oftentimes we say the Attorney General,
and
we leave it like that. We don't go to personalize it to Ayini and so on, or Godfred beforehand, Godfred Yaboa. And so that's my advice to the SP. And Ken has every right to say that, I have a right to remain silent. The law says you have the right to remain silent. And here you are tarnishing my name and my image without, one, you haven't charged me, per what they're saying. Charge me first. If I don't then attend, if I then escape from captivity, they call me a fugitive.
Yeah.
But you're putting the cart before the horse, and it doesn't do you, Kissy, any good. But the OSP, let your office work. Be untethered. Be determined. Be ruthless in the complaints that come to you, but do it in a judicious way, Chris.
Right.
So that you don't go and attack somebody,
right.
prosecute somebody baselessly.
All right. Thank you for that. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue with this conversation.
One thing I hate in my life, heat, or to sweat whilst I am asleep. That is why I don't joke with my air conditioners. Not just any air conditioner, but Franco air conditioners. It's good for the Ghanaian weather, and they are filled with R410 gas, which is very friendly to human beings, which is not harmful to human health. We have 1.5, 2.0 and 2.5 horsepower. So what are you waiting for? Walk into any Franco branch now and grab for yourself quality, affordable and energy efficient air conditioner from Franco. Visit www.francotrading.com or call any of the numbers on your screen for enquiries or wholesale. Franco air conditioners, they are reliable, tried and tested by all. Franco, home of quality and affordable air conditioners.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
Buckle up, here we go.
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
Time to boost some office morale.
Incredible!
When you want to build a future, you gotta know what you want.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Welcome back. It's still the news review segment right here on Breakfast Daily. So we've been talking about how the whole fight against corruption has, taken a dramatic turn on Ken Ofori-Atta, the former finance minister, suing the special prosecutor or office of the special prosecutor. And Ibrahim actually shared his views. And right now, Victor, I just want to ask, do you think this is an issue of selective justice?
No, I don't see it that way. The OSP, by the mandates that has been given to him, there are four main functions. To investigate, you prosecute, you do asset recovery and management, you trace assets, and you prevent corruption. Where you think that there's some aroma of corruption in and around the place, you should be able to get in and prevent that. So I think that these are the things that the OSP. So what is happening between the OSP and the former finance minister?
Yeah.
Some information or some activities that were related to his stewardship at the Ministry of Finance has come before the OSP.
Yeah.
And the OSP is supposed to be investigating. It's the investigation that they are calling him, that he should assist them to investigate. Now, when you are not making yourself available, or by your conduct, they think that you're not ready to cooperate with us, then that is when it says that you have some powers. Now, the powers that has been given to the OSP under Section 28, that he has police powers. All these powers are circumscribed by the Constitution, Article 9296, and even the 200 you were mentioning of the Act, that you must be candid, you must be fair, you must make sure that you are objective, because you've been put in a position where you have to be judgmental, but you have some discretion in there to make sure that what you are doing, it is fair. Even Section 19, Article 19 also talks about fair trial. So even if the person, you have to try him, you must offer him facilities. You must offer him opportunity that he'll be able to prepare for his case. So if I need some document and I think that it is in your custody, or whilst you were in office, you worked on that, or you were the author of that document, we have to cooperate and have it. I think that what is happening is that by the conduct and the attitude, maybe the OSP thinks that the former finance minister does not want to make himself available for the investigation. There are issues that have come up. The fact that you are conducting investigation doesn't mean that you are guilty. It is to assist. But when you are not prepared to come, then that is when it calls for issues. Then the people think that, oh, it is because you've done A, B, C, D, or you want to seal your tracks. That is why you don't want to open up. Now, yes, I think the court has always ruled that when it comes to medical health and issues, you cannot say that the person will have to be here.
Yeah.
You see, today, I'm sure if they have put up the hospitals and the rest, today they will not be traveling. And that even tells us the government. And when all our appointees are traveling every time to go to medical, so what happens to ours here? You and I, we attend Kolebu. We go to 37. But when it is them, they can find their way out. Different strokes for different folks. Is that the case? I think that the OSP is doing his work. He has some powers, just as the police, to issue an alert, travel, you put you on the blacklist and others. I think it will be in his benefit, for his benefit, to make himself available to stop all this. The OSP has come clearly that if you said people came to raid your house, OSP was not part of it. It is either it was state managed or it was an imposter action. He has been clear on that matter. So if you say you are suing OSP because he has come to his house, I think that, yes, he has a right, he can go to court. But the man says that I have not sent anybody. And when I'm going to do searches, my men or the personnel will always show you our insignia to show, yes, I'm coming from this institution. The law mandates me to come and do a search in your house. If you cooperate with me, I'll do it. If you don't cooperate with me, I'll use force. Or I'll get the necessary document to make sure that I'm able to come. So if he says he's going to court, yes, he will not be the first person to go to court and arrest. But you see, it's a policy. There is always policy behind the law. You cannot stop the state or the public institution from performing their duty. It's until the court also believes that there are exceptional circumstances that it may stop you. But even it won't be perpetual. It may just be briefly, temporary, because that is the state policy. If we stop our institutions because somebody has been to court, so we stop the institution, then nothing will work. And that has always been the policy. Similar cases or something like this, my attention was drawn. Had happened during Liman's time, when the late Kojo Chikata also felt that they were trailing him, there was surveillance on him. He was in court. And I understand the judge was Roger Kosa at the High Court at the time. Yes, he said no. That was a principle that no, you can't stop the state permanently. But the ones that he felt that were a bit personal or fundamental, I think some will be granted. So I have no beef about it. But you see, in at the same time, he's not coming. I just want to issue this warning to those peace entrepreneurs, people who go around, oh, we are senior citizens, and they go, when people are wrong or people are being investigated, we want to go and plead on his behalf and the rest. Please, if it happens, we will name you and shame you. We will name you. They are the people bringing us down. Yes, because when it happens, please, it should not be a chief, a pastor. When somebody is wrong, then, we want to see, he's our son. He's married to your auntie's son, and this. Please, they should stop it. They should stop it. Because I know what I'm saying. In this matter, when people still trying to go and influence me, and go and beg people and say, oh, how can we do it? Let's let sleeping dogs lie. No. It is about the citizens. It is, we want to see development. There is a perception. There has been a large perception that corruption was at its height.
Right.
Yes. And if that is what everybody has been made to believe, and that is why we need to look and investigate and find out the things that have been said, whether we were fair to them, people who said it were fair or not, right? It is once investigation is done that we can see. And so, in any event, this was not the accurate thing, it was propaganda. There is one case, I won't mention the case. In the previous government, I think some noises were made. I looked at, so a friend or somebody contacted me. I looked at the document, I read the document, I said, but the narrative that I heard about this very thing and what you are giving me the document, they're two different things. So I asked them, I said, are you sure you don't have any other document you are hiding from me? Because if it's all this document you have, then the narrative that was made
is different.
It's totally wrong. Yeah. You have been misled. Yeah. Are you getting it? And they said, oh, this all the documents we have. I said, okay. If you are truthful to yourself and the document speaks, it will speak volume. No matter where they will invite you, the document will speak for itself. So I always tell people that whilst document speaks for itself, you don't need to be called to ask questions. When the document is there, so when it comes to this Ofori-Atta, today, he's seeking refuge from the court. But you see, I just let people know that positions are not possession. There are things that had gone. I think we had some issues. Even people, to give them the benefit, to listen to them, just listen to them on issues. He never listened to them. Today he's being offered the opportunity. If they had to play back the same thing that he did to him, I'm sure today he will not. But you see, we live in a system where there is a rule of law. And for me, as a Christian, right? The fact that somebody has done something and you think it is wrong, you don't know how to do it. But the flip side of it also talks about Mosaic law. Mosaic law says that when somebody once slaps you, you also give him a slap, right? That's a Mosaic law. But I think that it also tells us that, listen, vengeance is for God.
Right.
But that does not mean that when people have done something, they cannot be called to account for their stewardship. Yes, if they have to be punished, they will be punished. If they won't be punished, it means that we get to know the loopholes, things that went wrong, so that we'll be able to seal the loopholes or take controls, internal controls and mechanisms that it doesn't happen again. But it's becoming every time like a continuum. The same thing happening every day. And for me, I'll be much disappointed to see any of the appointees now, when they get to know what went wrong,
and they repeat it.
And they are repeating it. People are fast, especially the young ones, losing faith in politicians, losing faith in politics. And we need to reset and make sure that people can see that, look, politics is not always about what comes to you. It's about what you give back to society, what legacy you can leave, and what you can, empower people.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So thank you for that. Moving forward, three foreign nationals Ghanaians arrested in Galamsey crackdown. Let's check out that article on ChannelOne.news.com. 3 foreign nationals, a Chinese, an Indian, and a Burkinabe, and their local Ghanaian counterparts have been arrested in an anti-illegal mining crackdown at Bosomefreho in Ashanti region. The operation led by the acting Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, Captain Retired John Jabari, also saw the seizure of 6 excavators used in the destruction of farmlands and forest reserves by the illegal miners. The illegal miners have devastated tracts of lands and water bodies in local communities at Bosomefreho, with their operations also affecting road networks in these communities. The joint security operation, which included personnel from the police, Ghana Immigration Service and Environmental Protection Agency and the Minerals Commission, was part of the effort to clamp down illegal mining activities in the area. We have seized about 6 excavators currently, and we are leaving them at the assembly, and the police will keep watch over it, he said. Acting Ashanti Regional Service Security Coordinator revealed that the foreign nationals have been handed to the personnel of the Ghana Immigration Service for questioning. We have handed them over to the immigration. They have the process they will go through with them. That is why they are part of the task force to handle the foreign aspects of the operation, he stated. Officials have also called for a strong community support to fight against illegal mining activities. That's a good one there. Victor.
Yeah.
Well, this show progress under Mahama's renewed effort against the fight against Galamsey?
I think the difference we are seeing here is the political will. The political will. That's what we are seeing, that yes, government is committed to make sure that, listen, even if it's not able to eliminate this, it stops the Galamsey in our rivers and in the forest. Right. I think that's what we are seeing, that people now are emboldened that they can arrest people. They can even arrest the foreign nationals. Let me deal with the foreign nationals first. Mm-hmm. When the foreign nationals come in here, do they know our farmlands? Do they know where the gold and the things are? It is we, the same Ghanaians, who are put in position of responsibility to hold the trust, hold things in trust for the citizen, ordinary citizen, that will be able to use our natural resources, are the same people who go and front for these foreigners and send them to degrade our land. Things that they will not do in their country. So every day when it comes, and these same people, you see, it may not be palatable what I will say. They masquerade around, and whilst they front, they go and do it. They bring some small money and say we are contributing it to the political party activities. And whilst they want an insurance in all they do, they take positions within the parties. We have some in the NDC, some are in the MPP. It's undeniable fact. Some are even members of parliament who hide behind, right? So for me, whilst that's the political will from the top, and he cracks the wheel, the whip, I believe that this will be brought to the bare minimum. At first, people were not bold to go in there. We saw our own security people who are now chasing them. At the time, was their watchdogs. They were the watchdogs. So the difference we are seeing. But I think that whilst the excavators are seized, they are confiscated, I think we should have a regime that we can go through that regime, and once it's confiscated to the state.
Right.
That we can give it out to the district assemblies and the rest to be used.
Yeah, for roads.
That rather than we seize it, put it at the police station, leave it there to get rot, everything is poor. What have we done?
Exactly.
I think that was why the previous administration decided that they would touch or get them banned. Why? Because the same people, like I was saying, as these peace entrepreneurs and the rest, will still go round and go and see the people. At the end of the day, we won't find the excavators. Like we saw the last administration, all the excavators flew. They flew. When the ones they said they've seized, where are they now today? Those who were in charge of it, those who seized it, we are yet to get all those information. Where are they today? So I think that this should be something that, you see, yes, one of the things I said we can have to weed out some of this thing is that we need to have a homegrown solution to our political party financing.
Right.
But if we don't have that political financing, we find people, excuse my language, the miscreants. Because they have their money bags, their pockets are deep, they get into political activity. And look, every political party and activity, it is expensive. Democracy is expensive. And the waste that goes in there. So every time we are looking for money, parties are looking for money. And if there's no structure, they will bring all this and take donation from them. And at the end of the day, how will you arrest them? I understand some former presidents, I won't mention names, some of these miscreants. So when they won the elections, they want to have a photograph with the president. Then they go to have photograph with the IGP. Then they have photograph with the CDS.
Oh.
These same people. So anytime you go, you want to arrest and say, have you seen this?
Yeah.
I'll call him right now.
Right.
And, the young security person who has been sent on the ground to do the work, he's disabled.
Right.
He doesn't want
True.
any trouble.
True.
So I think that political will is there. And today, they are inaugurating the river guards. They are training about 400 river guards who will be able to dive, go into the river, and clear all these champagnes and the rest. Nobody is saying that anybody should not do mining. All we are saying is that don't do it in the forest. To go through the process and have the community mining and the rest. That regime. Find out, inquire into it. I'm sure the licensing regime had been a problem. And I'm sure the land minister is working on it so that this is refined.
Okay, so Ibrahim, do you believe this government's fight against illegal mining has been consistent? Or
this government?
Yes. Or it's just another political object for you?
I would hope that it's a paradigm shift. Why do I say so? October 2020. I'm holding up something here. Where's the camera? City Newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Let me read it. John Dramani Mahama, then in opposition. I'll return excavators, concessions seized by MPP government. 2020, 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, John Dramani Mahama in opposition said, I will return. This is City Newsroom, your colleague station. Is that consistency? Is that how you go about things? When in opposition, you play to the gallery. In opposition, John Mahama, come off and look at my thing. People can Google it for themselves. You play to the gallery. So how can I have confidence in you? I do though, but how can I have confidence? He's saying, and I want to quote so you get the full thing. The flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, says he will retrieve all confiscated excavators and concessions belonging to small-scale miners reportedly given to MPP sympathizers if he wins the 2020 elections. He lost, of course. The flag bearer of the NDC said this when he addressed the Durbar of Chiefs and the people of Agona and Menfi in the Memphis Central District on day one of his 4-day campaign to tour the Western region. Under President Mills and John Mahama as vice president, we saw 10,000 Chinese in this country. That's the report there. I'm not making these figures. We talk about this issue so much, it sticks in your head. People can Google and fact check me. And I will say, can me check more if I'm talking Czech? Because I too could be lying. So he has a bad track record, John Mahama.
On
Galamsey.
On Galamsey.
How can you say this? That you will retrieve and give it back to the very small-scale miners who the law had arrested. You're saying there's a political will. 315 excavators were seized. Admittedly, only 127 could be found. And that was an issue. I'm talking under MPP. Where is the other 200 or so? Do you guys mean? Because it goes to what Victor said. We ourselves are complicit. We the Ghanaians, from the chief to the MCE to the DCE, and in fact to the president. I'm talking John Dramani Mahama. Yeah, I'll go on that tangent. This one, he shouldn't be shy. He should come and say, oh, Ibrahim, Mr. Mepamacho, I talked to him. It was a political talk. Because if your angle is that you gave it to MPP, it was given to MPP sympathizers. As a leader, because then he was in opposition, you've been a leader before, say that as president, I will bring an end to this. And I will make sure that the law works. Because it's simple to get a gold mining license. How? You apply.
Yeah.
But those who don't want to work within the law want to do their own thing, which hence the Galamsey, the illegal mining. Whenever we say Galamsey, it's about gold mining. And there are procedures to go and get a license. Chris, you want to drive on Tamamoto Way, nobody can stop you. Go to DVLA, make sure you are properly qualified.
Yeah.
That you know the law, how to drive the motorway or the roads, and we will give you a permit when you pass. And you can drive from here to Kintampo. But where you want to truncate the procedure and drive keke without license, without permit, we should have an issue with you. As president, I should not say, Chris, vote for me and I'll let you drive Basa.
Right.
I should say, Chris, if I'm president and you are driving without a permit, I will arrest you.
Right.
That will give you confidence that I have your interest at heart. Because when you drive keke without license, unduly qualified, you can kill somebody or injure yourself.
So do you feel it's a political uptick right now?
Do I feel it's a political?
Optics? Everything going on right now?
Part of it, yes. Part of it. But I believe there's a national interest element captured there so. Because I'm hoping we would have learned from 4 years ago.
Right.
And we have to, at some point, get to the point where I can, applaud you on your merit. I'm talking John Mahama. Not that you're an NDC flag bearer or president. When we talked earlier, give me 1 more minute. When we talked earlier about the police, I said it's not politics. It's by convention. I think Victor agreed. A new administration, I need my own people and give them new mandates to execute. As a leader on this Galamsey issue, what you said 4 years ago is not coming to haunt you.
Okay.
So beyond the optics, I wish and urge the president to change his determination or add value to his determination to root out this canker. And we make sure that we are hard on the illegal miners,
all right,
the illegal gold miners.
Okay.
Let's understand what they do.
All right.
Because they are hurting the environment. And beyond the miners, then you go into all the other people connected. The chief, the MCE, the DC, whether past or present. Crime does not